Hello children, welcome to Nichal Smart Learning Solution. My name is Banala Jaya Raj, biology teacher. So we are discussing 7th class chapters. So Nichal's 7th class textbook, biology textbook, which consisting of 8 chapters. First chapter is components of food, and second chapter is nutrition in plants, and third chapter is respiration in plants and animals, and fourth chapter is reproduction in plants, and fifth chapter is nutrition in animals, and sixth chapter is transportation and excretion, and last two chapters, 7th and 8th, soil our life and forest our life. So like that, there are 8 chapters are there in 7th class Nichal's biology textbooks. Now here we are discussing nutrition in plants, that is chapter 2. So we already discussed the flow chart of nutrition in plants. So here plants are performing they are performing photosynthesis, and they prepare their own food. So that is the reason they are called as autotrophs. And also we discuss what are the raw materials which are required for photosynthesis. What are the factors required for photosynthesis? The sunlight, carbon dioxide, water, chlorophylls are required for photosynthesis, and that information we discuss in that is the flow chart. Again we also discuss that, so during the process of photosynthesis, plants are releasing what? A waste gas into the atmosphere, and that is nothing but oxygen, but it is a valuable gas for all living organisms which are performing respiration. So here carbon dioxide and oxygen, that is percentage in the air is maintained, that is in normal levels by means of what? Plants by performing photosynthesis. So plants are called as autotrophs, and we need to discuss about what are heterotrophs and what is heterotrophic nutrition. Hetero means others. So some organism, they are not prepared their food by themselves, and they depend on other for food, and those organisms are called as heterotrophs. So we need to discuss about different types of heterotrophic nutrition in different organisms. There you see. So here we are observing some saprophytic nutrition, parasitic nutrition, insectivorous nutrition, other carnivorous nutrition, and also we need to understand about all animals are heterotrophs and they are not prepare their food by themselves. So in this chapter we discuss the mechanism of photosynthesis in detail, and factor necessary for photosynthesis in detail, and also we discuss an activity which also giving that there is presence of starch in leaves by adding what? Iodine, by doing the activity starch test. And also we also did another experiment, that is the sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis. Again in this chapter we discuss plants not only prepared what? Glucose, and they make what? Carbohydrate, they also make what? Proteins, and they also make what? Fats, and they also make what? Vitamins, and so that is vitamins and other foods. So plants are preparing carbohydrates, and plants are preparing fats, and plants are preparing proteins, and plants are preparing vitamins and other foods. So that we discuss in detail in this chapter. Now we are going to discuss about what? Heterotrophic plants. I told you heterotrophs means others, so they are not preparing food by themselves. So plants are preparing the food by themselves, so that is the reason they are called autotrophs. But other animals, all animals, they are not preparing the food, they depend food for other organism, so that is the reason they are called as heterotroph. and some plants they are not preparing the food. For example, see heterotrophic plants. So some of the plants are not possessing leaves, and they are not having green color structures, and they are not having chloroplast with chlorophylls, and those plants are called as heterotrophic plants. So there you see, we need to discuss about what is parasitic nutrition, and we need to discuss about what is the saprophytic nutrition, and we need to discuss about so what is the carnivorous or insectivorous, that is nutrition, and we need to discuss about what is symbiosis. So here we are discussing what four types of heterotrophic nutrition. First one is parasitic nutrition, second one is saprophytic nutrition, and third one is carnivorous or insectivorous nutrition, and fourth one is symbiotic nutrition. Children, so here you are observing a plant, and also here you see a twining plant which is grow, and also it makes a twine around the branches and it grows, and this is a twining plant. It is a parasitic plant. So that plant is called as a dodder or cuscuta. Dodder or cuscuta. Cuscuta is a parasitic plant, and it is a twining plant. It is producing what slender stem. It twines around a host plant. The plant which is supporting to grow, to twine, is called as a host plant, and this cuscuta plant is not possessing what leaves, and here the leaves are modified into what scaly leaves, and they are not green in color, and chloroplasts are absent, chlorophylls are absent, and they are called plants, and they are having root system, and it is having what a slender stem. It grows around what a host plant. It also producing what flowers, colored flowers, and how it is surviving. So without performing what photosynthesis, that we are discussing. So here this plant is producing what slender stem, and it twines around a host plant, and it is producing what Hostoria. There you see, there you see the plants are what Hostoria. So a special structure, and it is a hook-like structure, and it is penetrated to the host plant up to the level of vascular bundles. So here plants are having what tubes, and some tubes are present inside the internal part of the plant, and those tubes are called as phloem vessel. So through phloem vessel, blood is transported. That is food is transported from one part to the another part. So here leaves are performing photosynthesis, and during the process of photosynthesis they are preparing glucose, and that glucose is transferred to the other parts of the plant body by means of phloem tissues. So here this is producing what Hostoria, a hook-like structure, and it is and that hook-like structure is penetrate into the host internal part, and it draws food, valuable food materials. In this way it survives. So that is the reason this plant is called as a parasitic plant, and this type of nutrition is called as parasitic nutrition. Now I am reading the concept, that is the concept that is given, content that is given in the textbook. So here you see plants which depends on other living organisms for their nutritional requirements are known as parasitic plants, and these plants are not having what leaves, and leaves are modified into what spines, are that is scaly leaves, and these leaves are not having chlorophylls or chloroplast, and they are not in a position to prepare their own food, and they depend on other plant, and the plant which is that is hosting this parasitic plant is called a host plant, and this parasitic plant is getting what food material from the internal part of the host plant by producing what Hostoria. So this mode of nutrition which a plant live on or inside the body of other plant host and derive their food from them, depriving the host what valuable nutrient. The plant on which parasite plant lives is called as a host plant. This is called as a host plant, and it is supporting the what growth of the what this cuscuta plant, and this plant is not having green color structure. So, and it is draws what valuable food material from the internal part of the host plant, and this is called a host plant. Cuscuta, it is called as amarbel. So, it is that is common name. Is a plant parasite which produces special sucking roots. So, Cuscuta is producing what? Sucking roots. They penetrate into the host internal parts and they suck the what? Food from the tubes of the host plant. In this way, it survives. So, here absorption of food from the host plant. Cuscuta plant does not have the green colored pigment. I told you chlorophylls, and it cannot synthesize its own food. Cuscuta plant takes ready-made food on which it climbs. So, here we discuss complete information about what parasitic nutrition. So, here we discuss a plant that is called a Cuscuta, and it is a twining plant, and it twines and it goes around a host plant. It twines around a host plant. It is a climber, and its leaves are not having what? Chlorophylls, and chlorophyll pigments are absent, and this plant is not preparing photosynthesis, and it is depending on other plants for food, and it is producing what? A sucking what? Roots, and these sucking roots, here you see sucking roots penetrated the internal part of the host plant, and it sucks the food materials, valuable food materials, it survives, and this type of nutrition is known as what? Parasitic nutrition. Example for parasitic nutrition is Cuscuta plant. Now we need to discuss about what are saprophytes. So, saprophytes are the organism, and saprophytes are the living organism, and they derive the food through their body surface, and they are not that digest the food inside the body. So, those organisms are called as saprophytes. Example, mushrooms. Here you are saying mushrooms, and they grow on dead decay matter, and they grow on the barks of the plant body, and it is having dead material and dead organic matter. Fungi, yeast cells, they grow on what? Dead organic matter, and these mushrooms, they secrete some of the digested fluids outside, and outside the body, and these digested fluids, they digest the food outside their body surface. After the food that is digested outside, it is again absorbed through its body surface, and that type of nutrition is called as saprophytic nutrition. Saprophytes are secreting what? Digestive fluids, some fluids through their body surface, and these digested fluids digest the organic matter, dead organic matter outside their body surface, and after that this liquid part is absorbed through the body surface, and this type of nutrition is called as saprophytic nutrition. Examples, there you see that is mushrooms, and also yeast cells, and also rhizopas. So, now I am reading the what matter that is given in this page. So, there you see saprophytes, plants which depend on dead organic matter, known as saprophytic plants, and this mode of nutrition is known as this mode of nutrition in which organisms take in nutrients in the form of solution from dead and decaying matter is called as saprophytic nutrition. So, these plants are secreting some secretions through the body surface outside, and the organic matter that is present outside their body digest, and it is also made into solution, and that solution is once again absorbed through the body surface, and they survive, and that type of nutrition is called as saprophytic nutrition. Mushrooms take their nutrition from rotting wood of a dead tree. So, we can also say that the fungi such as mushrooms, bread mold, and yeast have saprophytic mode of nutrition, And saprophytic plants do not have what chlorophylls, and they are not green color. So here you are not observing green color structure. They are having umbrella like structure, and they are not green color, and they are getting what food material from the other dead organic matter, and chlorophylls are absent, chloroplasts are absent, and so again, and they are producing what some of the secretion outside the body, and they digest the food outside and they absorb, and they in this way they are surviving. So this type of nutrition called as a saprophytic nutrition. This mode of nutrition in which plants take in nutrients from dead and decaying organic matter is called as saprophytic nutrition. Children, so page number 30, we discuss clearly about what is saprophytic nutrition, example that is Cascota, and also we discuss the type of nutrition performed by the mushrooms, yeast, and that type of nutrition called as saprophytic nutrition. So now we need to discuss about another type of nutrition that is called as carnivorous or insectivorous what nutrition. So some of the plants which grow the areas where the nitrogen is deficient in the soil, and they are having what green colored parts, and they can prepare their own food. At the same time, they trap some insects for their growth. So here there is an example given here, Nepenthes, it is called as a pitcher plant. So here leaf is modified into a pitcher, and it is having a lid. It is secreting some of the sugary substance inside the pitcher. So here it attracts what insects, small insects, and they are trapped and they get entry into the pitcher, and the pitcher contains some of the liquid material, and this liquid material that kills and it digests the body parts of the insect, and thereby it is getting what nitrogen from the digested part of that dead organism. So in this way they are surviving and they are growing, even though they are having green color leaves. So for their growth they are trapping what insects, and they are killing the insect, and they absorb the nitrogen that is present in the insect. In this way they are getting nitrogen. So these plants they grow in nitrogen deficient areas, especially in desert areas where you see the nitrogen is less in the soil. And here you see, now I am reading the information that is given in the page number 31. Carnivorous plants also called as insectivorous plants. Example is Nepenthes. So it is producing what? Pitcher, and the leaves are modified into pitcher. So some plants take food just like animals. So we are eating fish, and we are eating what? Goat meat, and we are eating what? Sheep meat, and we are eating what? Chicken. So in the same way, these are the plants, they are eating what? Insects. So that is the reason it is called as a insectivorous plant, and their food consists of small insects. For example, pitcher plant is in a pitcher plant, leaf is modified to what is a conical like structure, a pitcher like structure, and insect sits on it. The lid is closed and the insect is trapped in the pitcher. It is then digested by the secretions of the enzymes which are produced in the pitcher. And now recall, so I told you, so these plants are green in color, so they are having leaves and they prepare their own food, but at the same time, why these plants are trapping insects? So trapping of insect is to kill the insect, to digest the insect. From the digested part of the insect body, they are getting what? Nitrates. In this way, plants are getting what? Nitrates, and that nitrates are useful for the growth of the plant body. So here, this is the type of nutrition we observed in case of Nepenthes. It is producing what? Pitcher, and pitcher is having what? Enzymes, and these enzymes they digest the dead bodies of the insect, and finally they are getting what? Nitrogen, nitrates. So these plants are eating the insects. So that is the reason these type of nutrition called as insectivorous nutrition or carnivorous nutrition. What are carnivores? Carnivores are the animals which are eating flesh of the other animals. Lion is a carnivore and tiger is a carnivore. At the same time, this plant is also called as a carnivore. Why? Because it is eating small insects. So this is called as a carnivorous. Carnivore, that is a plant, carnivore plant. Now we need to discuss about another type of nutrition in lichens. So here this type of nutrition is called as symbiosis. Symbiosis means, so here we are observing, we are seeing there is close relationship between two different types of organism. So lichens are not a single type of living organism, and lichen consists of group of organism. There you see the algal forms and so fungal form, both of them are live together and one is depending on other. So for example, here fungi giving minerals and water to the algae, and algal forms are preparing food and they are giving organic food substance to the fungi. So in this way both of them are benefited and both of them are live together, and that type of nutrition is called as symbiotic nutrition. Example, lichens. So lichens consist of fungi as well as algae. So fungi producing giving minerals and water, and algal form they are giving organic food substances. In this way both of them are living together, and that type of nutrition is called as symbiotic nutrition. Children, here we discuss 4 types of nutrition in plants, and this type of nutrition is called heterotrophic nutrition in plants. So first we discuss what is a parasitic nutrition. Example, that is the daughter cuscuta, and also we discuss another type of nutrition, and that is called as saprophytic nutrition. And saprophytic nutrition we generally observe in case of mushrooms and also yeast cells. And also we discuss carnivorous and also insectivorous type of nutrition, and this type of nutrition is performed by pitcher plant, and they are called as nepenthes. They grow in nitrogen deficient soils, and also they trap the insect, they kill the insect, and they are getting the nitrogen. And also lastly we discuss symbiotic nutrition. Here in symbiotic nutrition we observe there is a close relationship between two types of organism, and both of them are benefited. So one type of organisms are called fungi and another type of organism algae. Fungi provide minerals and also water, and algal form they provide organic food to the fungi. So that type of nutrition is called as symbiotic nutrition. Then how nutrients are replenished in the soil. So here soil is a bed for the growth of the different types of plants, and soil should consist of nutrients. Children, we discuss we need food, we need diet. The food we eat is called as a diet. Our diet should consist of nutrients, and food is nothing but energy. So energy is stored in food, and food consists of nutrients. So what are the nutrients that are present in the food? I told you carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and also vitamins, and these are called as the food substances, and they are nutrients. In the same way soil should consisting of nitrogen and nitrates and phosphorus, potassium. So like that these the elements should present in the soil, then only that soil support the growth of the plant. Suppose if these elements are not there in the soil, and that soil may not support the growth of the plant, and thereby the plant may not produce flowers and so fruits. So here how these nutrients are replenished, that is replenished and depleting in the soil by using the plant growth, and the elements concentration decreasing. So that is the reason farmers are using artificial fertilizers and so organic fertilizers and so vermicompost, and thereby these fertilizers consist of nitrates and also phosphorus and potassium. Thereby the soil become enriched with these elements, thereby these elements are required for the growth of the plant. So here you see, usually crops require a lot of nitrogen, and I told you, so plants are not in a position to absorb the nitrogen that is present in the air, and they can take carbon dioxide through in the form of gas state during the process of photosynthesis, but nitrogen they are not taking, so they are not in a position to absorb the nitrogen in gas state, and that nitrogen should be converted into nitrates, then only they can take the what soluble nitrates from the soil. So how this nitrogen that is present in the air is converted to nitrates? So I told you the percentage of nitrogen in the air is 78%. So most of the air consists of nitrogen, and here the soil consists of rhizobium bacteria, and these rhizobium bacteria generally we see they live together with leguminaceae plants. For example, bean, peas, and here see other two gram and also moong, and these plants are called as leguminaceae plants, and their roots are producing what root nodules, and the root nodules are having what that is rhizobium bacteria, and these rhizobium bacteria get shelter in the roots, and they trap the nitrogen that is present in between the soil particles, and air is present between the soil particle, and that gaseous nitrogen is converted to nitrates, and they store the nitrates into the soil, particularly in the what root nodules, and that nitrates are used by the plant growth. In return, plants are giving shelter and so food to that rhizobium bacteria. In this way, both of them are get benefited, and this type of this here is two types of organisms are living together, and that is called as symbiosis. That is also called as symbiosis. So here in this way, these rhizobium bacteria converts nitrogen to nitrates. In this way, the soil is getting what normal levels of what nitrogen, and that nitrates are useful for the growth of the plants. Now we need to understand about what summary of this chapter 2, that is nutrition in plants. Nutrition in plants. So here I told you the mode of taking food by an organism and its utilization by the body is called nutrition. So the mode of taking food by the organism is called as a nutrition, and nutrition is of different type: saprophytic nutrition, autotrophic nutrition, like that we discuss what symbiotic nutrition, and also what is that we discuss this one also, that is lichens, symbionts, insectivorous nutrition, like that we discuss different types of nutrition. And then second, carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals are the components of food are called as nutrients. So here we are consuming food, we are eating food, and food is having what energy, and food is having what nutrients, and our body require what different types of nutrition, but not one type of nutrients. Our body required what energy giving nutrients like carbohydrates or fats, and our body required what body building materials like proteins, and protein consists of amino acids, and our body required what energy giving that is nutrients like fats, and fats also stored energy, and they are called reserve food, and our body required what different types of vitamins, and vitamins also prepared or produced by the plants. So these are the nutrients which are present in the food. The mode of nutrition which an organism make their food by themselves, simple substances called as that is called as autotrophic nutrition. So here autotrophs are the plant. They are preparing their food by using what simple substances that are present around them: chlorophylls, sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water are the simple materials they are required for the plants. And by using these four factors, plants are preparing food, and that process is called as photosynthesis. And at the end of the photosynthesis, they are preparing what food in the form of glucose. And plants also make other food substances like fats and proteins, and also vitamins, and also other foods. And plants are called as autotrophs. Next, The process in which green plants make their food in the presence of sunlight using carbon dioxide is what is called as photosynthesis. The bodies of living organisms are made up of tiny units or cells. So I told you the structural and functional units of living organism and body building, that is structural tiny substances that are present in the body are called as cells. A cell consists of all cell organelles, and cell organelles also helpful for to perform different metabolic activities. So cells are present in living organism. I told you cells they form as tissues, and tissues they form as organs, and organs they form as organ system, and organ system form as an organism. And next, leaves are food factories of plant. The synthesis of food in the plants occur in the leaves. So leaves are green in color. Leaves are green in color due to the presence of chloroplast with chlorophylls, and they trap the sunlight and they prepare food. So that is the reason leaves are called as food factory of a plant. Carbohydrates are formed during the photosynthesis, stored in the form of starch. So here we are eating what potatoes, and we are eating what root that is carrot and beetroot, and these are the what food substances, and they consist of what more amount of starch. So starch is a food, and the starch is also called as a complex food, that is also called as complex food. Starch is called as a complex food. So we can identify the presence of starch in the leaves by means of adding what iodine, and thereby it turns to bluish black, that tells that leaves are having what starch. That is a test. And proteins are the nitrogenous substances which contain nitrogen also. So here, what are the elements present in the carbohydrates, and what are the elements that are present in the fats, and what are the elements which are present in the proteins? So the elements which are present in the carbohydrates and fats are carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. So here you see glucose C6H12O6, carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. So in the same way, proteins are having what another element, and that is called as carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. In addition to that, there also contains of nitrogen. So here 4 elements are present in the proteins. So here nitrogen present. The organism from which parasite take their food is called as host. So I told you that is Cuscuta is a parasitic plant, and it required what host plant, and it is producing what sucking what roots, and the roots they penetrate the soil, that is they penetrate the host plant, and they absorb the ready-made food, valuable food. And here Cuscuta is getting a it needs what host plant, and it takes what nutrient from the host plant. The insect eating plants are called as insectivorous plants, I told you. So here some of the plants they are what trapping the insects, and they are killing the insect, and they are what digesting the insect in their picture, and they are getting what nitrogen from the that is dead bodies of the insect. In this way, that nitrogen is converted to nitrates, and that nitrates are useful for the growth of the pitcher plant or Nepenthes. So here in the chapter, children, we discuss what are autotrophs, and what factors are necessary for autotrophic nutrition, and what are the end products of photosynthesis, that is glucose and also water and also oxygen. And also we discuss what are the different types of nutrition generally we observed in case of plants. They are called as heterotrophic plants, and we discussed in detail so what is photosynthesis and what factors are necessary for photosynthesis. And also we discussed 2 activities to know the presence of starch in the leaves by adding what iodine. And also we discuss what black pepper experiment, that is sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis. And also we discussed that plants make what carbohydrates, plants make what fats, and plants make what proteins, and plants also making what vitamins, also other foods. And here we discuss in this video different types of heterotrophic nutrition in plants. So first we discuss parasitic nutrition in plants, like what Cuscuta, and it is a what twining plant, and it is not having leaves, leaves are absent, and leaves are modified to scaly leaves and not having green color structure, chlorophylls, and they depend on other plant, and that plant is host plant. It is producing what sucker, through the sucker it is drawing what food materials and organic material, that is called as a parasitic nutrition. And also we discuss what saprophytic nutrition. mushrooms. They grow on dead and decaying matter, and they digest the food outside the body, and also they absorb this what solution through their body surface, and that type of nutrition called as saprophytic nutrition. And we also discuss what insectivorous plants, carnivorous plants like Nepenthes. The leaves are modified into what pitcher, and pitcher is producing what sugary substances, and they trap the insect, they kill the insect, they are getting what nitrates and nitrogen, and they are killing the insect. That is the reason they are called as carnivorous plant, and they are also called as insectivorous plant. And finally, we discuss what are lichens. So lichens are the organism, and there you see two types of organisms, they live together. So one type of organisms are called as fungi, and another type of organisms are called algae. Fungi gives what that is minerals and water for the survival of the algal form, and algal form they prepare food, and they are giving what are organic, that is food substance to the fungi. So both of them get benefited, and this type of nutrition called as symbiotic nutrition. And also we discuss how the nitrogen is converted to nitrates, and how these nitrates are once again getting back to the soil by means of the rhizobacteria. And also we discuss summary of this lesson, that is nutrition plant. Children, in this video we discuss nutritional plants in detail. Thank you.